Word. Everyone's listening. The CIA, the FBI, the NSA that speaks, the NSA that listens, all of them. They're all tuned in. They're all tuned in. So what would be an alumni call if we didn't start with some wins and celebrations? We got to start with some wins and celebrations. Like when you were active in the program, they can be small, they can be medium, they can be large, they can be gigantic and earth-shaking. And if you don't have a win or a celebration, you got to work on that. You got to work on that. Because if you don't celebrate the small, you're not going to get the medium, you're not going to get the large, you're not going to get the super size. So celebrate and appreciate every day and every step along the way. And Charles just can't wait. Charles is busting out, so I'm ready. Let's start with you, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I spoke at a conference last week. Not $9,000-$10,000, but $4,000. But it was a very small one that the association doesn't even have a logo. So, felt pretty good about that. But used the referral blurb when I followed up, and this morning received. He sent out 3 referral emails using the template, and I'm already connected, starting the conversation with 3 new opportunities. So thank you. It works.
Very nice. That is great. Let me just, we seem to have some background noise from a couple of different people. So let me just mute everybody, and then you can obviously unmute when you want to chime in with your win and celebration, and then in a few minutes when you want to chime in with your question. But that's great. My only fear, and you guys have heard me say this till I'm blue in the face, but that's okay. My only fear with the $4,000 gigs is when you say, hey, I got some referrals, I got some connections, they'll be to other $4,000 gigs. And sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But unless you reset your sites where these are my prospects, this is my fee, this is where I'm playing, I'm not playing down here anymore, I'm playing up here now, you have to have that standard in your business to keep yourself in the clear.
Well, to just go one step deeper into the details here, he was apologetic and frustrated that he didn't have the budget to do any more. And so all 3 of these referrals are to national associations instead of more state associations. So I'm going up to the next level.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, the only other trick, and we're not here to trick you and trip you up and make you feel goofy, but let's say that your fee is $7,500. Teresa's laughing because she's like, no, you're trying to make him feel terrible. If your fee is $7,500 and you do a gig for $4,000, did you send the invoice that shows $7,500, $3,500 credit for this reason, that reason?
Yes. Your
special super duper rate because I love you is $4,000.
Yes.
You did. Awesome.
I did have the 7,500 as the rate, and I put the discount on there, and I put actually in the email a note to him that I really enjoyed speaking to your group. I don't do this type of deal often, and would love the opportunity to have referral, blah blah blah. So
A+. I'm moving you from like a B minus to an A+. It's great. Very nice.
A lot of movement.
I'm afraid now. I'm very nervous. So yeah.
Well, we keep raising the bar on you guys. All right, who's next? Who's got a win, a celebration, an aha, anything that you want to share? Erin.
So I did 2 presentations while you guys had your big video day, Louisiana and then California. So that made for an interesting week. They went well. The one in Louisiana was the Society of Association Executives. So that's one of those lower paying, but huge marketing. I've already got proposals out as follow-ups, like people who came up to me and said, oh, we need you for our meeting. So that was exactly the goal. And I actually made some great connections. There was some folks who work at the national level of SAE.
Nice.
So national level instead of state level. And then thanks to Charles just now, because I was literally just trying to think of exactly how to follow up with all these awesome people that I met. And I like the idea of using the referral blurb. Because I have the list and all the emails of all the attendees, and I have a ton of notes. So for the folks that I don't have conversations already on the calendar with. My big aha just now, thank you again, Charles, was I can use that referral blurb to them.
Big time.
Where should I send the invoice? I don't know where they send
to David Newman.
No, here's what I'm thinking. It should have been a $4,000 speaking fee and then a $5,000 bill for logo design. Then you could have got everything. I'm just saying. They don't even have a logo. Okay, I'm a $4,000 speaker. I'll make you a very nice $5,000 logo.
I've got some crayons. I mean, I can do a really good job. Okay.
Yeah.
So that went well, and California went very well also. And
Nice.
I have 2 proposals going out today, and that's a great follow-up. So thank you again.
Super. Very, very nice. Who's next? Candace, go for it.
Okay, so I have conversations going with broadcasting associations in Alabama, Missouri, Illinois, and Texas. Just did a discovery call with Illinois Friday, and she's interested. I got to do because of course she brought out so what's your fee? And so I went through well, I don't, who knows, because we're still figuring out exactly what you need here. I said, but I'm better than the cheapest. And I couched it by saying, this may sound flippant, but I'm better than the cheapest, and I'm cheaper than that best Tony Robbins guy that you're scared that I am. And she thought that was very funny, and she's engaged. And so she's got a committee meeting coming up, and I'm going to get a proposal to her next week. Texas, I have a call with Wednesday. I'm still working with the guy who I did my very first air convo with. He's working his referral network for me at Scripps, and I can't remember the other big broadcasting group, but little by little.
Yeah. Hopefully you didn't say about the fee question, well, who knows? Well, who knows?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Who knows? I had a client, you guys heard the story. I think it's in the training that I had a client years ago. She said, David, I've been all over the map with my fees. $1,500, $15,000. I don't know what to charge anymore. You tell me. $1,500, $15,000, somewhere in between. I don't know. And just woo. I mean, she was serious. She was so screwed up because she was taking any gig at any fee. And so she totally lost any objective connection to her own value of her topic, of her, the math that we always tell you guys to do. Can you put a number on it? Can you put a number on it? What's that costing you? What does that cost you personally, professionally, financially? Where else is this showing up? What else is that causing to happen? Why don't we just leave that alone? That doesn't seem like a big problem. No, it's a huge problem. What are you talking about? And so all of those things, once you establish the context of value and the contrast of scale, your fee should be like this big. Your fee should be like infinitesimal compared to the value that you can deliver and the outcomes that you deliver to that client. When they ask the question too early about how much is it, you can quote $50, and $50 is too much, right? You uncover $1 million problem, and then you quote 50,000, and they'll say, oh my God, that's perfect. When can you start? Because no one's willing to just throw money down the drain, but everyone is willing to spend $50,000 to solve $1 million problem.
I think the challenge with the broadcast associations is that they have their members that are from, widespread organizations all across the state. So, so they're a little bit more challenging with regard to that. But I've still got a dog in the hunt, so I'm all right.
There you go. And it's all unctuous.
Yes. Still unctuous.
Candace will never live that down from our speaker video summit, but that's okay because unctuous shows up in her presentation. By the way, you guys are, I think, just a week or two away from getting your video from Jason. He is hard at work like a madman going through all of our video assets and putting together something pretty awesome for you guys. So that'll be exciting to see. All right, who's next? Win, celebration, breakthrough, Catherine. I saw Catherine, then I saw Susan Scanlon next. And we got to get you unmuted, Catherine.
No, I didn't. How's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So I now have my website guy in the Philippines working on, I got my Why Hire Catherine and my speaker sheet from Allison, and we
Great.
are in process of getting the website totally tweaked before I speak at Beth's event in 2 weeks' time.
Super.
Have new business cards for both of those. I've done a 7-part video series for coaches of winning teams as an add value. And I've been to Sponsor Secrets with Linda Hollander and really learned a lot about approaching sponsors.
Tremendous.
Joy and I are actually working on a project together around the Women's College Tour.
Oh, nice.
So I'm flying to Dallas in a couple of weeks' time, actually, to work on that and get a proposal ready to start pitching to really big corporates.
Sweet.
I've got a list of the top 25 basketball coaches earning from $9 million a year down to $2.5 million a year. I've reached out to 2 of them. Coach K gets $9 million a year, would you believe? But Coach K's team got back and said he didn't have time to do the interview. The other guy hasn't, but I now have the rest of the list to start on this week and send out those. Yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic. Congratulations on all of that. But I want to go back to the salary of these coaches, and I want everyone to listen to this. This is hugely important. You do realize that on Catherine's list, the guy who's making $2.5 million, the bottom guy, he is pissed. He is upset. He's like, no. How come this one's making 3.2? This one's making 5. You know, the big dog's making 9. That's fine. But I'm not 2.5. That's, they're treating me like crap around here. $2.5 million. Why? Because that's where the barometer is set. It's not about, I got to make more money. It's 2.5. I'm worth more than 2.5. So are you worth more than 2K, 3K, 4K? Yes, you are. Should you be pissed when like 4,000? So this is, by the way, the 2.5 million guy 10 years ago, never in his dreams with, I'm never going to make 2.5 million. Now that he's tasted it, he's like, this isn't enough. I'm better than this. What the hell's going on? I think as speakers and as experts, we are missing that natural elevation, escalation of the barometer. We think that, we're lucky if we can get 3, 4, 5,000. I love 3, 4, 5,000. Even the folks that are making 10, 12,000 that work with us sometimes. I said, well, how long you been making $12,000? They go 10 years. I say, you do realize that about 3 years ago, you should have raised your fee, right? And then maybe another, 3.5, 4 years after that, you should have raised it again. And that people that were $12,000 10 years ago, your peers, your colleagues, and I'll drop names, today they're making 20 and you're still making 12. And why is that okay? Because those people had the natural elevation and escalation impulse that many of us don't. We're like, I'm glad they had the 3,000. I'm just glad I got $3,000 this month. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Be like the $2.5 million coach that Catherine's going to work with, who is pissed off that it's only $2.5 million. And that's going to be a very healthy way to elevate and escalate and accelerate your financial success.
And I'm thinking, instead of going to those absolute top ones, I'm probably better off starting at number 25 and working up, because they want to get to number 1.
Right, exactly. They can elevate and escalate the quickest.
Yep.
You can move the needle for them easier.
Cool.
All right. Susan Scanlon, I didn't mean to, where'd you go? She's here somewhere. There you are. Fantastic. Go ahead. You moved on my screen, so I wasn't sure if you popped off or came back in or what happened, but go ahead. And we just got to get you unmuted.
Unmute, darling.
That would help. Okay, now I'm on air. So I did post in the Momentum group. I was super excited. I got my full fee. I did the salt, pepper, 10,000. And just wanted to share that with those of you who were not, did not see that post. I'm still celebrating that big time.
Yes.
And that was, as I mentioned, I did the add-on. They expressed some concern when I gave it, and a week later, after I offered an add-on, I will speak to all your wealth managers for an extra hour at the end of the day. They bought that, so I'm thrilled, and we're going to firm that up and date it later this week. So I'm getting ready to approach other associations. I'm getting a list of those together, simply because now they're planning for the spring. So one of them that I saw was the Chamber of Commerce locally, who I want to say 2 years ago brought in NSA's Connie Diskin. She's a
Deacon.
broadcaster.
Uh-huh.
Deacon, yeah. And what I've been doing, is looking up when I see an association, I try to find a previous speaker and look up their rates. And, and I saw hers was like 10 to 20. And then they had another one that was 10 to 15. And then a third one, a comedian from New York City, was 7,500 to 10. So, and this is a question I was going to ask Teresa anyway. When you call them up and they ask for fees, do you do like Candace said, I'm less expensive than Connie, but I'm, I like, what do you mention names, or is that rude? I mean, I just didn't know what.
Well, so first of all, I wouldn't even mention, I would deflect that fee conversation until you've, number one, seen if you're a fit, and then number two, see what the outcomes are that they want to create.
Okay.
Right? The number one fastest path to commodity status, and a lot of buyers do this, they call you up or they email you, and it's equivalent to, how much are you? How much are you? What's your fee?
Right.
And like, what's your fee? It's a 3-word email. Just like comes in over the transom. What's your fee? Right. The people that answer that are the ones that lose.
Right.
So this just happened to me last week. I think I shared it with the SPF folks. I did not share it with you guys, but let me read to you what I sent back to her. So she says, she was responding to a blog post or something. She says, oh man, this is so good. David, can you tell me your speaking fee? So I was like, well, I'm not going to fall for that. So here's what I said to her. And because this is a professional executive director, she knows the score. She knows what's going on. I said, come on now. Literally, this is the email. Come on now. That's a trick question. Any sales pro knows to discuss the scope and nature of the work. Any sales pro knows to discuss the scope and nature of the work before blindly quoting fees. You are testing me, right? Let's set up a call to discuss what you have in mind. And I put my scheduling link. Let's see if I'm a fit, what outcomes you want, and then the fee options will become clear, and I'll happily share those with you.
Ooh,
now,
I love that.
Here's what she responded, and I'll post this in the group so you guys have it.
Post that. I love it.
She says to me now, the response email to that is, successfully played right into my hand, David. Looking forward to chatting with you. I just sent an appointment for tomorrow. Now it's like, wait a minute, dude, you played into my hands. I didn't play into your hands. You played into my hands. Unless she was referencing, you're testing me, right? But the point is, no matter what, you always have to have the value discussion before you have the fee discussion. Because otherwise, it just goes into commodity land, and whatever number comes out of your mouth, that number is going to be too high.
Right. But even after you find out what they want, is it appropriate to say I'm less than, or do you just say your fee?
No, well, so the line, just to give it to you guys correctly so that you don't misquote it, it's I am better than anybody who's cheaper, and I'm cheaper than anybody who's better. Now, I would not reference specific speakers, so if you saw that they have Jeffrey Gitomer, they had Connie Deacon, they had Connie Podesta. It's like, well, I'm more expensive than this guy, but I'm cheaper than Connie Podesta.
No, okay.
That's helpful. Okay. But so here's the marketplace intelligence, though. When you have that research and you know that this one's 15 to 20, this one's 10 to 15, you know that when you quote 10 or 12 or whatever it is that you want to quote, that's going to be in the ballpark that they're used to hiring. The big danger in that situation is not overquoting. The big danger in that situation is underquoting. Because then they'll be like, oh, well, this person must be an amateur. She's not going to be as good as Connie Deacon. She's not going to be as good as Gitomer. She's not going to be as good as David Averin. She's not going to be as good as Ron Price. because Ron costs a fortune. You don't want to get involved in that. But the idea is you don't want to, people are concerned about pricing themselves out of the market. I'm going to encourage you to price yourself into the market that you see those competing speakers pricing themselves into, right? So too cheap and you will lose the deal. I guarantee it. Too cheap and you will lose the deal. This is like saying, well, we've got the filet mignon, we've got the, fresh caught salmon, or there's chicken nuggets. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm not a chicken nuggets customer. I'm not a chicken nuggets client. Don't sell me the chicken nuggets. I don't think chicken nuggets is a fit. It's like, oh, then you want the pork. Okay, yes, you should have offered me the pork because I already had the steak. I already had the salmon, and the pork is just as expensive as the salmon. So you want to be on par, right? You want to be on par with those people in that same league, in that same ballpark.
That is a new hashtag, as Christy said. Don't be a chicken nugget.
Don't be the chicken nuggets, people. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Christy. Don't be the chicken nuggets of your industry.
Okay.
Chicken nuggets are at McDonald's. Chicken nuggets are not at the fancy restaurant.
Okay. Well, that's really helpful. So then just I'm cheaper than those that are, better. And
So the way I typically answer that's a fun line to have in your back pocket.
Okay.
The way that I typically answer the question is, right now, I don't know yet because I don't know what you're buying. I don't know what outcomes you're after. I don't know what's the depth, duration, and detail of the program. I'm not being evasive. I tell them this up front. I am not being evasive. But after a 15-minute conversation about your event, your group, your needs, your wants, your outcomes, we will both know. And then I'm happy to share that pricing with you, or I'm happy to share some pricing options with you. But right now, I would be quoting a blind number out of thin air, and that's not going to help either one of us because your program might be more than that. It might be less than that. It might be just a totally, I might not be the right person anyway. So it doesn't matter how cheap or expensive I am. If I'm not the right person, we need to talk first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you make it very clear that you're not playing games. You're not being evasive. You're not being goofy. You're not being slimy. You're saying after a 15-minute conversation, we will both know. And I'm happy to share the pricing options with you at the end of that initial call.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Super.
And that was even just a win or a celebration. So let's do one more win celebration, and then we can go into our questions. And I see that Melinda has her hand raised virtually, so let's go to Melinda next.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm considering it a win, although it resulted in no money. But I turned down a gig because they didn't want to pay. It was a half-day session, and I had quoted them $4,500, knowing what I would bring, and they didn't want to pay it. And they said, well, other people in the area are quoting half your price. And I said, well, I'm not sure what they offer, but I know what value I'm bringing to the table, and that's my fee. So I'm not sure if I handled that part right, but
you did.
It was one of those.
End of discussion. You did.
Okay. So just saying that's my fee. The end.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be somebody cheaper. Right?
Sure.
When they don't feel like paying the $2,000 speaker, they'll find the $1,500 speaker.
Right.
When they don't like paying the $1,500 speaker, they're going to pay the $500 speaker. Now, what I don't know if you handled 100% correctly is, did you fully probe? Did you fully uncover? Did you have a complete conversation about the value and about their problem and about their audience and about their outcomes before talking fee at all?
Yes. I always ask all of the questions using the templates and everything and the marketing language. And I think I've gotten pretty good at that. In fact, I had one woman tell me, oh gosh, I haven't even thought about some of these questions that you're asking me. So I think that I'm doing that probing. And I did not, though, at that point in time say, remember in our conversation, we uncovered some things that you hadn't even discovered. Do you think that the people that you would hire for less will be addressing those issues? So I guess that will just come with practice.
Well, no, I think it's a mindset. Well, yes, I mean, of course, it comes with practice, but you can't just practice with where you are now. I think this is a big mindset issue. And this is probably a big mindset issue for everybody, that whether your fee is $4,500, $9,500, $15,500, you having any sort of hesitation or fear or embarrassment or awkwardness about the fee and about your belief in the fee and why is the fee, that needs to be addressed. And I think that's something that, that's just ongoing conditioning. Part of it's about your identity, that you don't want to be the $2,000 local yokel backyard speaker. Also understanding fully and really internalizing and meditating and praying on the fact that you will never, ever, ever turn a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom salesman. So if you're hunting and fishing in the wrong ponds, you're going to catch the wrong fish no matter what. And so we got to get you out of the wrong ponds. And, we're never going to argue with a prospect. Well, my fee is this because blah, 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 blah. It's not going to be, we're not going to beat them up and go, no, you're right. You've beat me up so much. I'm totally paying your fee now. But you need to be so firm and so clear on what you're doing, why you're doing it, what the outcomes are that you deliver, that anything less than the fee that you quote needs to be completely ridiculous to you. Completely ridiculous. And so when that comes in, right, you're like, well, that's in your head, you're saying, well, that's completely ridiculous. And then if it's completely ridiculous to you, it's much more likely to be completely ridiculous to them after a little bit more probing, a little bit more coaching, a little bit more uncovering. Even I gave Susan Scanlon tremendous props because she put out this thing for $10,000. At first they were like a little, rather than cut the price, which half of you would have done. I'm not naming names, but half of you would have cut that damn price. She goes, well, I also normally do X, Y, and Z. I'll throw that in for the afternoon. Price stayed at $10,000. Now it's the program plus the bonus session. And they ate that up like nobody's business. They said, oh, no, that's great. Yes, let's definitely do that. Because she didn't cave on the price. She did not cave on the price. It is super important that that's why we do salt, pepper, whatever your number is. Salt, pepper, $7,500. Salt, pepper, $4,500. Salt, pepper, $12,000. That needs to be as obvious as the nose on your face. And you need to love that fee and know in your heart of hearts that anyone that doesn't invest that much money is missing out. Because it
was a referral, and it was a referral from someone that I had done work for a long while ago. So of course my fees were different then.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to offer anything extra because it was only for a half a day and I wasn't going to give them any more of my time for any less than that.
Yeah. Well, and again, you can go back to the fee negotiating menu that's in module 6, but all of this starts with the mindset. I mean, we can give you all the tactics and the scripts, and if they say this, then you come back with that, and then if they say that, then you come back with this. If this isn't dialed in, none of the scripts, none of the templates, none of the talk tracks are going to make a whit of difference. So work on this, and then the next bunch of conversations will go much, much better.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to questions. Who's got the first question? Feel free to pop that into the chat window. For the first couple of people, I can just maybe see your hands if you have a question. Oh, I want to have some fun with Carrie for a quick second while you're thinking about your question. Because Carrie's a master of intrigue, mistress of intrigue. I get this Facebook message for no particular reason. It says, David, today I really appreciate you. Thank you for everything. And I'm like, okay, I love that. Thank you. What happened? So
I got one too.
Happened? Like, what was that fabulous thing that you were grateful for?
I was in a mastermind that had us going through everything to keep us in a positive frame of mind in spite of all the hurdles we're going through to get to our goals. And it was reminding me to appreciate all that I have around me and all the people who have helped me get as far as I've gotten. And you guys have been immeasurable in the transformation I'm experiencing this year. And I had to say directly thank you to you guys. I don't have a fabulous testimonial for you yet, but that is coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So mystery solved, and I hugely appreciate that. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
I got to say a similar message and message back and said, awesome. So what's going on?
Right. All right. Very good. I'm thrilled that we are part of your journey and continue to be so. So questions. Who's got the first question? This could be the world's shortest Q&A call if there's no questions. I'm glad we did some celebrations. Let me open this up here. And Susan says, what's the best advice to prep for a trade show booth? I used to read, oh my God, the Guerrilla Trade. I have that book. The Guerrilla Trade Show Selling book. Have not done one in a while. So you and I talked about that. What other questions do you have? Are you asking the group, or are you still asking me again? Are you asking
well, basically we talked about, the slogan for my sign. I am going to be manning the booth myself. My sister, her husband, she's right in the area, so she's going to assist me with the booth. So basically, what do you tell your assistant? Do you just tell her to like gather the names, like kind of the logistics of running the booth itself? Do you give her a script? I mean, if I get an overflow of people, or do you just tell her to have the people line up and wait and talk to me? I guess just, how do I handle having someone help me at my booth who maybe doesn't know that much like about my business?
So I would just arm that person with some questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the same kind of questions that you would ask. And we talked about you having a very provocative and attention-getting message on the trade show booth, and say, has this been a problem at your bank? Has this been a problem at your firm? Has this been a problem in your world? And, what does that look like? And then hopefully your person's taking notes. And, have the person grab a business card. If you're not available, would you like to book a 20-minute consult with Susan? She's doing those just for the folks that are here at the show right now. And we've got some time tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and then just write down their preferred day and time and an email address, and then you're good to go. And, so make her a little appointment generating machine.
Okay.
But start with questions. I would actually totally have her start with a set of maybe 3 to 5 really simple questions, the same kind of questions that you would ask, to uncover the level of interest, the level of urgency, the level of, oh my God, this happened to us last year. We have to make sure this never, ever, ever happens to us again. That's a much hotter lead than someone going, yeah, no, we read a couple stories in the paper. We're a little bit concerned about it. Okay, well, that's a little bit more of a lukewarm lead. But, I think having a strong game plan going in is going to help you either set appointments right then and there on the show floor if they're talking to you, or the assistant can do it with the little note card and questions, and just grab their business card and then see if they can pop onto your calendar.
Okay, so you would actually do sessions at the program, or do you set them up for after?
I would set them up right there. I'd say, grab your phone and let's find a time. We're going to get home from this thing on Wednesday or Thursday. I've got Thursday at 2. I've got Friday at 10 a.m. By the way, I'm on Eastern time. What works better for you?
Okay. All right. That'd be great.
And then, because if you don't do that right then and there on the show floor, they're going to get sucked back into the tsunami of everyday life.
Okay. That's an excellent idea.
So really lock down the appointment on the trade show floor, and then they'll talk to you.
Right. And it's also a good idea to get business cards or gather emails from everybody, pretty much, or just people you're having conversations with.
I would do, you could, the problem with collecting emails from everybody is everybody's not necessarily interested.
Right.
So you could do the usual kind of trade show booth drawing kind of thing. But even there, the best way to do a drawing, by the way, is if there's any kind of prize, any kind of thing, make it directly relevant to what your business does. So what you don't want is to give away an iPad and then you're doing the work that you're doing, because all you're going to get is the email addresses of people who want an iPad. Okay. If you do a half-day on-site workshop for up to 20 of your bankers, right? That's the giveaway. The only people that will enter that are the ones that want the half-day workshop with your bankers.
Ooh.
And then when you get on and that sounds like a scary giveaway. It's like, oh my God, I have to fly across the country and do a half-day workshop. You can do it virtual. You can also pre-frame that workshop and call it a fee-waived pilot that I will do session 1 with your group. And if you love it, we will do more of these. You know, I've got 3 more workshops that go behind this one, and it's an integrated product suite, and we'll do more, but I'm willing to waive that $10,000 fee for the first one because you won it at the trade show.
That sounds great. That's a great way to get in and get the right people.
Anything that we do, make sure that the giveaway, the prize, the whatever, the big 800-pound gorilla goodie is directly relevant to what you do.
Okay.
So if I went to a trade show, which I never do, but if I went to a trade show, it would be a speaker marketing makeover. It would be some consulting time. It would be maybe you come to the next video day. It would be we will refresh your speaker website. The only people that care about that are my perfect target market. The people that want an iPad, the people that want to pick up the Snickers bars off my table, I don't want to follow up with them. So no Snickers bar people, no iPad people. You want people who want you.
Okay. So no candy at the booth then.
Well, you could do candy at the booth, but then
Right.
the conversation and any follow-up is directly relevant to what your work is about.
Well, I think that's wonderful, David. Thank you, because it's all in Pennsylvania too, so it would be possible to do, live at least.
Oh yeah, well in Pennsylvania the half-day giveaway is easy then.
Right. Thank you.
Totally.
Thank you so much. That's huge.
You are so welcome. So our next question is from Cameron, and it's about a better way to filter and sort through associations. Better way to pre-qualify associations going through Google searches. So what I would do, there are some databases, and some of the databases you can get from your library at no cost, even if they're multi-$1,000 databases. Generally speaking, the way to separate the ones that have budget from the ones that don't is purely by size. So size of their budget, size of their staff, how many meetings they have. You can use all kinds of different databases. There's the National Directory of Trade and Professional Associations. There's associationexecs.com. There's all kinds of proprietary databases like leadership directories that give you association breakdown. There's even some that I've never even heard of, but if you go to your local library and sit down with your business librarian and tell them that you're after trade and professional associations that have meetings, they might sit you down with some cool new association database thing that might be better than what you can get online just by doing Google searches. So I always look for bigger budget, bigger staff. Like if you have 3 people on staff at an association, they're not going to have a budget probably, right? You have 27 people on the staff, that's much more likely that they're a big association. If they have 1 or 2 meetings a year, it's not as good as if they have 8, 10, 12 meetings a year. Not that all of those meetings hire paid speakers, but they're going to have the big annual conference. They're going to have some smaller niche conferences. They often have a leadership conference just for the executive level people. So multiple conferences throughout the year is another indicator. And then budget. A lot of these databases have the annual budget. So you can set a filter for any professional or trade association with a budget of $10 million or more. Our National Speakers Association, for example, has about a $5 million budget. And no, we don't pay speakers, which is really weird because we're the association that says you should always pay speakers, except we don't, but that's okay. So, and it is okay because whatever. But so I would go a notch above, right? I would go to a $10 million plus annual budget association because that means they've got money. So they've got money. Here's the filters. They've got money, they've got meetings, they've got staff, right? And then that's going to be a much more likely prospect than a small association with a small staff that has 1 or 2 meetings. That's probably going to be more of a amateur player.
Right.
Double A baseball, to use Skip's term.
That's what I do. David, that's a lot of the criteria that I select when I'm targeting an association, and we that's kind of the methodology we find that's working for us, to find that association with the 50 or 40 plus state chapters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the criteria where you just laid out the size of it, the budget, the size of the staff. You can tell by looking at their website, if they're small potatoes or not. If they are, then I go to the next criteria, which is finding if they have a good number of state or regional associations. Then I find out if those smaller chapters have at least one big annual conference or convention. Then I have to go even a deeper dive to find out what kinds of speakers they have, and if that is a match for us. And if it is, what are the fee levels of those speakers? Then I have to go to eSpeakers or something and find out if their fees are listed. So it's multiple searches to identify, okay, this association X looks good, let's go for it, and let's spend the month or 2 months and go after each one of them and find out and eliminate right away. I eliminate as quickly as I can if I don't think it's one that's going to work. But just finding that association also takes time. I was just wondering if there was maybe a quicker way, but you know what? I don't know that there is. I don't think that any of this is written down. They have these X kinds of speakers at this kind of value of fee level. So
if there was such a way to instantly identify, I think I mentioned this on one of our SPF calls because this came up just in recent weeks. I'm not sure if it was our last alumni call, but I would immediately buy that company and I would charge each of you $99 a month, and I would have lifetime income, and I could just go buy an island. It would be done. It was just like, okay, that's it. We're done. Solve the problem. Now we know who hires speakers. We know what fee level. And I even thought, this was years ago, just as a by the way to confirm your correct belief that there is no such thing. I was like, what if we crowdsource this? The way that Waze crowdsources traffic. Right? So, there's an accident over here, and there's a shortcut over here, and this donut shop is now closed, and people just uploading all this stuff. Imagine if we all uploaded, I got hired for this topic by this association in this year at this fee, even if it's just anonymous submission, but it's fact-based, right? And you say, okay, leadership, sales, customer service, team building, communication skills, presentation skills, financial fraud, whatever it is, okay, give me all the people that in the last 12 months have been hired for between $5,000 and $10,000. Prospect, 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 prospect. The problem with that is I used to run something like this back in 2010, 2011. Speakers, unlike professional salespeople, where you can have like a spoke, spoke is a service that's a lead sharing thing. Speakers don't want to give up their leads. Speakers don't want to say, I spoke for this guy, her, him, this, that. This was a leadership talk. This was a team building talk. This was a communication skills talk. This one paid $7,500. This one paid $10,000. This one paid $9,000. No one wants to spill. Nobody wants to spill the beans on that. That's the problem in this business. If we were selling photocopiers and we got all the photocopier salespeople together to share leads and to build this database, we'd have it up and running in 6 months. Speakers are, no, these are my people. I'm going to keep them. Even if they'll never hire you again, or they'll never hire you in the next 4 or 5 years, they're still my people. I would never give them up. I would never even anonymously submit them. Okay. So my idea goes out the window with that. But there's no magic beans. And remember, we're doing this hand-selected, right? Intelligent prospecting. We're not batching and blasting 100 of these a week. We're doing maybe 5, 10 a day. 5 a day, that's a good rhythm. 10 a day, that's a good rhythm. As soon as you start doing more than that, the spam alert goes off in my mind that, oh my gosh, you're going, you're taking spraying too far and too wide. Charles, you had something to add to this angle?
No, my goal is the 5 a week. So, that I contact, and
a little higher would be good. I'm just saying.
I make sure they're all just as, personalized contacts as I can make.
So 5 a week initial. Here's the problem with 5 initial contacts. 5 initial contacts, you're lucky to have 1 conversation. And if you can close 20% of your conversations, that means that you'll get 1 gig a month, not 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Well, I
right?
guess
You do 5 a
right,
week.
yeah. I guess right
then
now with
all the
mine,
numbers later in the funnel get lower.
you're right. You're exactly right. But I think right now I have got so many people that I have neglected that I already have contacts with that I'm trying to go through those because they're high.
Okay, so
value
that's like a client reactivation campaign.
Yeah, it's more like that. Yeah.
Okay, so there you can use much lower numbers because you might close 60% of those. I want you to close 60% of those. Okay, so let's keep going. Billy says, was that a question or a comment? That might have been a comment. To avoid marketing to everyone, what have you used specifically to focus on? I'm building a list as I write this and want more certainty I'm on the right path. To avoid, so what have you used to specifically focus on the right potential client? So do you mean by industry? Do you mean by job position? Give me some texture behind that question.
No. I'm asking, I mean, my niche is leadership.
Yeah.
That's it. And I have just spent the morning going through piles of paper that I accumulated in my health challenge period that I just went
Yes.
through. So I'm beginning today to eliminate and to pick and choose. More recently, I've done some safety leadership training at 2 specifically big conferences with no budget, but that's a different story. I won't go there. I understand the mantra. But it's opening my thinking to market my safety leadership program, which is really very good to clients that do things that involve a lot of safety. So I'm going through the list and saying, this is a potential safety topic. This is a potential management topic for the group. So I'm eliminating that way. And I'm going to hopefully by the end of the day, have my list constructed. My goal is to make 3 conversations a day.
Great.
Not 3 contacts, because you're exactly right. I've called 10 people and not said hello.
Right.
Don't want to go through that problem for the rest of my life. So
Right.
I'm really working to do 3 conversations, which is why I'm narrowing down my focus. And I was trying to see if you had any insights as you normally do.
Yes. Of course I have insights. Whether they're accurate or not, who the hell knows? But do I have insights? Yes. Ask my wife. It's like, honey, do you have any insights on? Oh, yeah. No, I do. I do. And she,
I hope you get a better response than I get with my insights.
yeah, exactly. Honey, do you have something to share? Yes. Is it valuable?
No.
Okay. I love safety. I love safety for a whole bunch of reasons. And I'll give you some marketplace validation about this in a moment. If our topic is about leadership, and especially with the candor aspect of it, where safety leaders are really exposed to all kinds of trouble and all kinds of danger, is, you know what, I'm just going to pop in over here to the construction site. I don't need a hard hat. You know what, I'm not going to put on my personal protective equipment. I'm just going up. I'm just going to open up this valve. And this is where people, their heads blow up. Their arms get grinded off in the machinery. They get electrocuted. I mean, there are stories. So I used to work in this field.
Yeah,
I used to work for a publishing company that did HR, finance, safety, and sales. The safety horror stories, when people leave something unsaid, like, dude, put on the helmet or you're fired. Put on your hard hat or you're fired. Put on your PPE or you're fired, right? I'm going to dock your pay if you don't put on your protective boots when you go up on that scaffolding, right? If they don't wear the steel boots, then these gigantic pieces of concrete fall and crush their feet and God knows what. So profit is on the line. Health and wellness and productivity is on the line. Sometimes even public image and reputation is on the line. Any kind of safety disaster, safety incident costs them anywhere from $50,000 to $5 million per episode. So when you say, okay, I'm doing safety leadership, I'm adding in that layer of the Cajun candor, right? So that we're doing straight talk. We're having open and clear communication, even if it's difficult, even if it's challenging, even if it's not your personality, because I don't like getting in the face of my guys. I don't like pulling rank on them. Doesn't matter. Do you want to keep them alive? Do you want to keep them safe? Do you want to keep them coming back to the job and earning money tomorrow, or do you want them in the hospital, or do you want them in the graveyard? If you don't want them in the hospital and you don't want them in the graveyard, then you bring me in to do a program. Now, as far as generic speaker, big, going into safety. And you may know this and you may not know this, but when you do your competitive scan, Billy, I would encourage you to relook at this. You look at some of the most successful, motivational, inspirational speakers today who, if you were having a bad day, you would say, well, they don't have a message. They don't have any content. They're just really awesome speakers. They have an awesome act, and they're just purely entertainment, or they're purely a sob story. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about our NSA National President, Dan Thurman, who juggles swords and bowling balls and bowling pins and all kinds of stuff. He now has a very well-defined niche inside of safety. Because obviously when you're juggling swords and bowling pins and things that are on fire, safety is an integral part of your message. So he says, okay, I don't want to just go and be the novelty act. I want to go and be the safety speaker. And what I bring to it, like you bring Cajun Candor, he brings the juggling swords and the fire and everything. Second guy that totally dominates the safety world is Chad Hymas. So Chad Hymas worked on his dad's farm. He was lifting some big, huge bale of hay. The bale of hay, he didn't follow safety instructions.
Yeah.
The bale of hay fell on him, snapped his neck, damaged his spine, in a wheelchair, quadriplegic for life. Is this the guy that you want to hear a safety message from? Yes, it is. He didn't do that for years and years and years and years. That was the backstory. That wasn't the main story. Now he's like, wow, it's getting really tough and really competitive to be out here as a motivational, inspirational story. And he's got a fantastic speaker. He's got a great story. He really does. For a general audience, he's got pictures of his wife, pictures of his kids. I mean, he'll make you cry your eyes out because he's so genuine and so real. Safety, re-niching, recommitting to, my whole life changed because I wasn't paying attention to safety.
Yeah.
So two very different guys, right, for two very different reasons, targeted the safety niche. They didn't target the safety niche because they don't have money. They didn't target the safety niche because they don't bring in high-fee speakers. They didn't target the safety niche because safety's a nice to have, it's not a have to have. These guys have meetings, they have money, and it's an absolute have to have, and safety leadership is totally a killer topic and a killer program. Now, your secret sauce that you bring to it is candor. Don't worry about what they're not going to like. When you say, put on your PPE, put on the helmet, put on the boots, you can't go into that work site. You have to shut off the safety on the machine. You have to shut off the assembly line before you put your hand into the machinery. Otherwise, your hand's going to be hamburger. No, but I'm a tough guy. I've done this for 20 years. I'm the foreman. The rules don't apply to me. The rules apply to you.
Yes.
And so safety leadership, for all the reasons I mentioned before, and because Dan is playing in that pond and Chad is playing in that pond, that's your market validation that there's serious money there. I love that. And I would have you double down on that and just rock that thing till the cows come home.
Well, that's what I was doing this morning in looking at my list. I just did a safety leadership program last week for a small conference put on by the governor of this state. And I was called to speak there because they needed a free speaker, I guess. I don't know. But you're right. And I'm very candid on safety.
Yeah.
I tell people, if you like to work here, put your hat on. If you don't like to work here, just keep it in your hand and walk off.
That's
because
it.
There is no other choice. I threatened to fire a child of an employee working for me for the very reason I just told you.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to make history because we never fired anybody. But you will be history. I will fire you if you don't work safely. So, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. I managed safety 10 years, no lost time accidents.
Hey, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So talk about that needs to go on why hire Billy for your next safety leadership program.
Yeah. So anyhow, I am venturing in that form of leadership, but I'm trying to see if I'm picking the right clients, because some of these are pretty big clients, but I'm gonna go after them because they all need a safety message. Anyhow, I didn't want to dominate the conversation. But thanks for your insights. I appreciate it. And thanks for the validation. I will give Dan a call.
Yes, because you guys are, I mean, all that, the reason I mention them is because Dan is very different from Chad. Chad and Dan, very different from you. There's plenty of business for all three of you guys. In fact, you might want to start referring and connecting. They might be part of your referral posse.
Well, that's the selfish reason, obviously. Thank you.
In both directions, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to give them gigs as well.
Yes, we'll do. And I've seen both of them speak. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Okay.
Good job. Catherine, you have a question about your website. What is the question about your website? It's not as good as Ron Price's website. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we've established that I'm not going to have the two portals because that's like managing two websites.
Okay.
However, do I put on the homepage? Here's my challenge: is what do I put on the homepage right at the top with a picture of me? Obviously, I'm going to have a tab which is who we work with, or who I work with, and then drop down to the two different niches. But what do I put on that homepage? I've on my actual speaker sheet, by the way, that.
Yeah, very nice.
That Allison gave
What's
me.
the headline on that guy?
It is give your team the skills to in the aqua, and then create success from their untapped potential within, and transform your workforce into peak performers. So I'm wondering whether we put transform your workplace or sporting teams into peak performers who consistently rock their goals, or is that too long?
I think it's too long. I think the whatever goes at the top of the website, just like the verbal business card. Right? The verbal business card is the beginning of a conversation. It's not the entire conversation. It's not where everything starts and everything stops and that's all you get to say, because you have everything else on the homepage, everything on the speaking page, everything on the about page, everything on the coaching and consulting page for you guys that do coaching and consulting. So really the job of that headline is clarity and to get them to want to read more. Right? So it could be clarity and intrigue. What it can't be is it can't be just generic, I don't get what that is. I have no idea what that is. That's the reaction that you do not want, right? Yeah. So on the top of my website, for example, not that I have this all dialed in perfectly all the time, but the website's pretty good because after 10 years of banging my head against the wall, I got a pretty good website about 6-7 years ago. So marketing for smart people, right? Oh, what is that? Well, it's marketing. That's the clarity piece. And for smart people, that doesn't mean that you have a high IQ. That means that you're selling your smarts, right? You're a speaker. You're an expert. You're a consultant. You're an author. You're a coach. You're a thought leader. So I encapsulate everything I do with marketing for smart people. Maybe you want to encapsulate everything you do with rock your goals. Could be 3 words at the top of the website. Rock your goals. It could be that simple.
Yeah.
Right? So don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it do work that it's never intended to do. It's like, oh, rock your goals. Yeah, I want my team to rock their goals. I want my company to rock their goals. I want my employees and my direct reports to rock their goals. Let's keep reading, right? So now I know it's about goal achievement, goal attainment. It's some kind of performance coaching. It's some kind of, you know, it's about goal setting. It's about goal setting and goal achievement. I got it. Let's move on. And then I want to read more about who it's for, why it's awesome. Why is it cooler, faster, better, smarter than anything else in sliced bread? But that's what the whole website is for.
Rock your goals. I love it.
Yeah, I would keep it super simple. 3-4 words and boom, you got them.
And people are great at setting goals, but they're not so great at getting. So I have a 6-step process of how to set it and get it.
Right. Well, and that's the payoffs. I mean, all you're telling me is there's a reason for rock your goals at the top.
Yes.
Because that's what you do with your clients, and you've got the speaking and the coaching and the consulting and the methodology and the tools to help them do that. So that's the payoff on that tagline.
Great. And then how much of what we've got on this actual speaker sheet would I have on the actual homepage?
So I wouldn't have it on the homepage. I would have it on the speaking page.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like a speaking
whatever you want to transfer, the more consistency, the better. People say,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to repeat what's on the one sheet. And my answer is, yes, you do. You totally want to repeat what's on the one sheet because they don't want to see a whole bunch of stuff on the website, download the one sheet and go,
It's not a match. Yeah.
wait a second. What I thought she was about this and now she's about that. And it just gets confusing. Remember also the whole premise of having a marketing language bank is having one collection of marketing language to use online, offline, one sheet, website, LinkedIn, sales conversation on the phone. Everything is integrated. There should be nothing new that you ever have to say. Once you've dialed in that marketing language bank, all you're doing is going back to that main bucket and pulling out the headlines, the building blocks, the sound bites, the phrases, the little special secret sauce you-isms that you bring to the table. So when I say things like I help people make marketing easy, effortless, and enjoyable, I've said that 10,000 freaking times.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of hearing it, let alone saying it, but I say it all the time because that's in my bucket. People go, oh yeah, we want that. We need that. Well, that'd be great. People hate marketing. I say, yeah, I know, because they're doing marketing tasks that they find difficult, painful, and unpleasant. How about if we change that to easy, effortless, and enjoyable? Yeah, okay. So I just keep going back to those old chestnuts that I developed years and years and years ago in my marketing language bank. We kidded about this when Erin was active in the program. We said, this should be boring. This should be dull.
Yeah.
You should be saying the same things over and over and over. You should be doing the same things day after day after day, week after week. If your marketing and sales and business development is exciting and new and different, you're probably doing it wrong because now you're chasing 17 monkeys that you don't need to chase. So there you go.
And just to clarify though, on the homepage, I would have a drop-down menu of who I work with. And then that clicks through to that bit or to the corporate market it wouldn't
have to be a drop-down menu. You could just have, you could have them click through, works with coaches, works with executives. It could be hot links, text links, buttons, navigation, whatever. It doesn't have to be, you can use it lots of ways to partition that traffic, that if you're this kind of person, go over here. If you're that kind of person, go over there.
Actually, yeah, because at the moment, they're actually really nice, big, colorful, oblong pictures of me with some words on it with the market, and they click on that. So just leave that the way it is.
Yes, that sounds good.
And testimonials, though, on that homepage.
I like testimonials everywhere.
Yeah.
As many places as you can put them. I like throwing testimonials everywhere on every page somewhere. So they're never more than, they're always there somewhere.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
Never see a page without reminding people of your awesomeness. That's the important thing there. So Candace, I apologize. I skipped your question. I alluded to this earlier in that state broadcasting associations aren't really in the making money area. So help me with what the value and scale. So that's about meeting problems for the associations and then business problems for the ultimate corporate entity that might send someone to the meeting. So I think there's a huge everything connects to money. Yeah. There's only 3 kinds of problems in the world, right? There's people problems, process problems, and profit problems. And they all cost money. People problems are very expensive. Process problems are very expensive. And then profit problems are things like marketing, sales, distribution, manufacturing, whatever, profit margins, whatnot, partnerships. So I would take the generational conflict, right? If that's the main thing that we're solving, and I would hop on Google and I would look at the cost of intergenerational conflict. I would search for what does, unproductive communication between the generations cost. I would look at the average size company that's got all 5 generations now in the workforce, because we got babies and strollers now coming into the workforce, which means that they're 21, 22, 23 years old. What does that cost when they can't successfully work with this person, or they leave because they're pissed off, they got turned off, cultural mismatch, DNA mismatch, right? That's like, man, this company doesn't get it. I don't like my boss. I don't like my coworkers. I'm going to go someplace else now. The problem for employers right now is unemployment's at an all-time low.
Oh, yeah.
So they need to be paying people more money. They need to hire the best people. There's huge competition. You probably just saw that Amazon raised their minimum wage for every single Amazon employee will now make $15 an hour, period. Even if they're working at Whole Foods as a cashier, right? Because Whole Foods is now an Amazon company. So they're not doing that because they want to be seen as the good guy. They're doing that because they want to win the war for talent at every level. Frontline level, frontline supervisor, second level, third level, all the way to the top. They say, we want the best people to work here, so we have to pay them more. Because if they don't work at Amazon, they're going to go work somewhere else. They're going to go work at some other retailer. They're going to go work at Walmart. They're going to go work at Target. They're going to go work at whoever the hell Amazon's afraid of next. And so that is a serious, serious financial issue. It's not a sales issue. It's not a marketing issue. But does it have expense? It absolutely has expense. Huge if they screw that up. Mm-hmm. So you just have to go one layer deeper into that conversation about what does it cost you to recruit one, frontline employee? What does it cost you when you lose one frontline employee? And you need to have those numbers in your back pocket in case they don't know. Harvard Business Review said it's going to be this, this, and this. And Monster.com says it's that, and that from their 2018 workforce turnover study. And this other one says, and people go, damn, I didn't even know I had a problem. And now you're telling me it's costing me $17,000 a month. Yeah, it's costing you $17,000 a month. So over the course of 1 year, right, you can chunk it up and chunk it down, right? Over the course of 1 year, we're chunking it up. What's 17,000 times 12, right? And how many departments like that do you have? Oh, 40. So now it's 17,000 times 12 times 40. Pretty soon these numbers get pretty astronomical. And they're like, Candace, what's your fee again? This compared to that, right? You're solving this kind of problem. And they're like, oh, it's 7,500. It's 10K. It's 95. Great. Yeah. When can you come in? Because we don't want this problem. And we're happy to invest this little amount to solve this scale of problem.
And yeah, I get that for the big broadcast groups like Cox and Scripps and all.
Oh, these numbers add up fast, even with a small 25-person company.
Yeah, but what I'm interested in is, because I'm talking right now mostly to state associations with the different stations all around their state. Sure. Come in for the meetings, and so when I'm asking them and trying to develop that value and scale contrast with someone who wants to get people to their meeting, to their convention.
Yeah. Well, so there's meeting problems, right? And then there's the business problems that we're just talking about. If you say this is their number one problem, they're looking to your association for leadership on these exact kinds of issues. And you can help them with that, or you can stick your head in the sand and not help them with that. You'd say that more diplomatically, right? But then when that membership renewal comes into their inbox, they're going to look at that and they go, what has that association done for me lately? Have they helped me with selling more ads? Have they helped me with my people problems? Have they helped me with retention? Have they helped me with whatever? And some of the people might not even come to this event.
Yeah.
Right. If you keep doing FCC compliance, you keep doing this, you keep doing that, you keep doing trends in programming with blah, 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 blah. You know what? I got bad news. They can read about that online. They can download the latest FCC white paper. They can look at blogs and videos, and they can get free webinars on that all day long. What is your association providing that others won't, don't, or can't? Okay. And I'm saying that if we promote this program as the elephant in the room, number one top priority that your members are all wrestling with, based on research 1, fact 2, research 3, right? They're going to come to the meeting. They're going to renew that membership when it comes in. And they're going to say, thank God I'm a member of this association, because this is exactly what our organization needs the biggest help on. And they provided it. So do you want to be that kind of association? Or do you want to go back to the same kind of programming that you were doing at your events back in 2009?
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
So make them the hero in front of their members by putting this program in front of their members.
Okay. Got it.
That is it. All right, people, you all look fantastic. I don't know if you've been doing some tanning booth or whatever, but you all look good. Copy's in the car. She's driving along. You got the sunroof there. It's all fantastic. So don't be a stranger in the Momentum Facebook group. We want to see your smiling faces. And watch for the recording. Watch for the recording. Feel free to post questions. Believe it or not, Teresa and I in there like looking every day going, nope, nothing. Okay, go back to business. We look again the next day. Nope, nothing. Go back to business. That's it. That's what we do. All right, team. Got to run. Thank you. Peace out.